There are a certain number of requirements that need to be met to really make a sequel stand out and matter. Refined gameplay, new areas, more features. A sequel also has to maintain the spirit of the original, and straying too far can have a negative effect, while not taking risks comes off as lazy. OlliOlli2 Welcome to Olliwood certainly fits the bill of a full-on sequel. It has new features that enhance the original, addresses previous issues, and changes enough things to make it feel like a new experience that honors its background. However, in the grand scheme of things, it's clear that the developers were so dead set on making sure that their audience was spoken to that there's almost no chance that newcomers will enjoy the experience. To start, this is a unique skateboarding game that has your generic skater going through downhill stages themed on Hollywood blockbusters. Players will grind, flip, and jump their way through levels based on adventure movies, westerns, horror flicks, and sci-fi spectacles, building up extensive combos and learning how to perfectly navigate the many rails and pitfalls that each of them holds. The difference between these areas is mostly cosmetic, and the obstacles within are largely the same, but they increase in difficulty due to the combinations and layouts. Speaking of difficulty, the speed in which things ramp up is shocking. With very little lead-in, you will soon be expected to make runs with only perfect landings and combos from start to finish, oftentimes still meeting extra conditions like performing specific tricks or spinning a certain number of times. Also, the layout of the stages quickly changes from those that have multiple paths and forgiving landings to being one single stretch that almost has to be comboed through. It was apparent very early on that this game was intended for those that mastered the original and are looking for the ultimate challenge. For those players that are returning to the scene, there are some interesting additions that flesh out the skating experience. Much like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, manualing is now possible. This allows you to extend your combo on flat ground, and the game makes sure you use it. It's not simply a suggestion, but an absolute necessity. Luckily, it's easy to perform and responsive to boot, so this addition will soon become second nature to returning players. Less intuitive though is the addition of the revert, a special type of landing that can combo into a manual. It serves as a way to extend your multiplier even more when landing. Sadly, performing a revert is not as easy. The button command is extremely simple, but it just isn't very responsive, and the revert not triggering will break your combo, effectively ruining most runs in the later portion of the game. Luckily, reverting isn't much of a requirement and is rarely put into the challenge portions. On the plus side, the timing for landing and grinding perfectly seems to have been smoothed out, but the developers definitely take advantage by making the courses more challenging early on. Many of the runs demand absolute perfection, and I felt that this focus on difficulty got in the way of me having fun and exploring new ways to navigate the obstacles presented. The game looks and sounds great. The art style is simple, but there's a lot of detail in the layered backgrounds, and the use of colors is sometimes stunning. However, while aesthetically beautiful, I did have trouble sometimes distinguishing what I was supposed to ride on and what I was supposed to grind on, and the art style sometimes masks obstacles, making them harder to dodge than they should be. The HUD has been cleaned up and simplified and does a really great job at letting you know just how well you're doing. With a chilled out soundtrack that just plays front to back, there are some seriously good vibes that come from the tunes, and it's one of OlliOlli2's greatest strengths. In terms of replay value, there's definitely potential here for those who can survive the arduous career mode. The daily grind feature lets players take on a unique challenge every day. You can practice the run as much as you want, but then you must nail the one that really counts to be put on the scoreboard. For OlliOlli fiends, this could be a seriously addicting feature and keep skaters coming back for more. Sadly, the challenge portions of the career mode have taken a turn for the generic. Almost every stage has the same objectives: get a high score, high combo, start to finish combo, and usually cross a specific gap by grinding. I would have liked to see some more variety in the objectives. Eventually, I stopped checking what they were and just comboed as long as I could, and usually got a good number of the objectives completed as one begets the other. I like the challenges that push you to do certain trick combos, as it is a good way to sneak a tutorial right into the middle of the gameplay. Overall, I like OlliOlli2. I think it has problems with difficulty and later level design, but the early courses really allow you to just sit back and enjoy yourself, come up with your own lines, and try out new tricks. Freedom of expression is important in skating culture. Unfortunately, developer Roll7's insistence on being perfect time and time again will turn away all but the most hardcore veterans of the original title. OlliOlli2 Welcome to Olliwood is currently available on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation Vita.